last week I put up a video, and it was about middle school and youth throwers and expectations. And I had basically included a video from, or an email I had read from a coach. And to be honest with you, it was a little bit harsh and it was a little bit too blunt. I have a tendency to be very blunt when I talk about certain subjects, and very blunt and almost very cold when I talk about kind of some of the frustrations that certain coaches will have with their throwers. I do get a lot of emails from coaches who are frustrated and coaches that are like kind of pulling their hair out because either their athletes aren't listening or their head coaches aren't listening or the strength coach isn't listening and nobody likes me, nobody respects me. And I feel for these coaches, and a lot of times it comes across in my videos as being angry or being like too blunt or being mad. So I pulled the video off and I wanted to reshoot it today because I do think it's a very important video. And again, it's what should we expect? Like as coaches, what should the expectations be when we work with our youth throwers and our middle school throwers? And basically, and it's hard to say, it's hard for these words to kind of leave my mouth, but when you're working with youth athletes, especially youth throwers, we're talking younger than the high school level, so like 13, 12, 11, 10 years old, like that age range, you have to lower your expectations quite a bit. And really, it's not because of the kids. It's really because as coaches, we expect our athletes to like just get it real quickly. Like, okay, guys, I'm going to show you how to do it, and then you're going to get in the circle and you're going to do it. And maybe if it's high school athletes that have, maybe 3 or 4 years experience, maybe if it's college athletes that have, maybe 5 or 6 years experience when you add in high school and everything else, yeah, maybe you'll be able to show them a drill. Maybe you'll be able to make a correction, and they're going to get it that day. But you have to think, we're dealing with middle school. So we're dealing with like 12, 13, 14-year-old kids. Maybe they're 11 years old. Like my son's in 6th grade. He's not 12 yet. So at the start of the school year, he was 11. So you're dealing with 11, 12, 13-year-old kids who developmentally, they're kind of on the low end of things. They don't get things as quickly. They don't understand things as quickly. They don't piece things together as quickly because their brains haven't fully developed yet. I mean, our brains really don't fully develop until we're in our early 20s. So you got kids that are like 11 and 12 years old, and you're showing them how to throw, and they're not getting it the first time, or they're not getting it the first day, or maybe they get it after a couple days, and then you show up on the 3rd day and it's like you never taught it to them. They completely forgot it. It's in one ear and out the other. This happens a lot. And what I want you to do is I want you to think of, like, if you have kids, like my children, my wife is actually a 3rd grade teacher. And I remember when my children started, I think it was like kindergarten, they learned how to hold, here we go. They learned how to hold a pencil or a crayon in their hand, the proper way to hold it. And like if you're dealing with a high school kid and you say, all right, pick up your pen and start writing, they're just going to pick up their pen. And they're going to do it correctly because they've been doing it most of their life. But that kindergartner, that 1st grader, it's not, hey, pick up your pen. We're going to work on how to hold your pen on Monday. And then on Tuesday, we're going to write the entire alphabet. And then on Wednesday, we're going to learn how to write a sentence. And then Thursday, we're going to write a paragraph. And then Friday, we're going to write a 5-page paper. Like, that's not how this works, okay? We're going to learn how to hold that pen for a couple of weeks. And then we're going to learn how to write capital letter A. And we're going to spend a couple of days on capital letter A. And then we're going to spend a couple of days on capital letter B. It's like we're trying to do that with our middle school and our youth athletes. We're trying to go, okay, first day, we're going to learn how to hold it in our hand. We're going to learn how to put it up against the neck. We're going to learn how to flick and how to push. We're going to learn release drill. No, 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 no. You can't do all that on the first day. The first day might be, let's learn how to hold it in our hand. You might spend an hour and a half doing that. And then it's, okay, now let's push it and flick into the ground. And we're going to learn how to push and flick. That might be day 2. Maybe day 2 is going over how to hold it in your hand again. And maybe day 3 is how to flick. Maybe day 4 is how to flick. Maybe day 5 is putting it up against the neck. So what you think might happen in one day of practice for a middle schooler might take a week to accomplish everything that you think should happen in a day. I'm going to end this video by saying kind of what I think your goals and your expectations should be at the youth and middle school level. And that is creating a handful of really, really good habits that the athletes can take into the next level, that the athletes can take to high school and possibly even take to college. How to put it in your fingers correctly. How to push and flick the ball. How to put it up against your neck. Maybe power position, where to put your feet so it's that good heel-toe position. Shifting their weight. Using the non-throwing arm, going from long to short, pulling that arm in. Your goal should not be, okay, I want this person to be our state champ in middle school. I want him throwing 40 feet. I want her throwing 30 feet. I want a state champion in discus. I want her to throw 100 feet in the discus. That's not the goal. If you can get them releasing discus the correct way so it comes off their first finger and doesn't come out the back of their hand, like, you get a pat on the back. If you can get them learning how to do like a half turn or in the circle, or if you can get them to do a South African correctly in the discus, dude, that's perfect. Teach them the basics, get the good habits developed, really, really work on the fundamentals of throwing. And that's really what your expectations should be, is preparing them for the next level, getting them to enjoy the sport, getting them to enjoy competing, getting them so they're not nervous at their track meets, and just getting them to enjoy track and field and throwing so that they continue to do it at the next level when they get to high school. That's really what I would expect of a middle school coach or of a youth coach, is to keep it fun, teach the fundamentals, teach the basics, and get the athletes ready for the next level.